Quasi here, and in this video I'm going to share with you the secrets to visualization and basically the 3 keys and the 3 biggest mistakes people make, why visualization doesn't work for them the way that they would like to, and how I use them in my life to help me really transform and achieve my goals. I really want you to pay close attention to this video. This is going to be very short, but if you use these 3 keys, you're going to start to see miraculous things happen in a very short period of time. Before I begin this video, I wanted to quickly announce that a couple of spots have opened up with a free one-to-one consult with me and my team for the Reality Mastery program. Make sure you wait around till the end of the video for the announcement on that. And let's get started. So in this video, I want to talk to you about visualization and how to visualize, why we visualize, and the proper way to visualize so that you can actually achieve your goals. Okay, a lot of people talk about visualization. I have talked about visualization in the past, but there are certain little subtle tweaks that make it possible. I've gotten a lot of requests to actually make this video, and that's why I'm making this video right now. But what you've got to understand is that visualization is a technique, right? Just like affirmations, just like hypnosis, they're all just techniques intended to go to a certain goal. And the goal with all of these techniques to really help you manifest is to achieve coherence in your heart and your mind. What do I mean by that? Well, it's kind of like you think a thought and you feel a feeling corresponding to that thought. When the thought and the feeling come in conjunction, they're of the same frequency. Then what happens is the coherence happens between them. They go in superposition, one on top of the other, and it gets magnified. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we get through this video, but what I want you to remember now is visualization, and the goal of it is to attain a state of being. Okay, you visualize to really get into that state of being of your ideal self and what life would be like once you've achieved your goals. Okay, that's the goal of visualization, and the goal of it and all of these techniques achieve that coherence between the heart and the mind. Right? Why is the heart and mind coherence so important? Why do so many people talk about this heart and mind coherence? What happens when you have this coherence between the heart and mind? You see, there are waves, right? Feelings have a certain frequency about them, and our thoughts have a certain frequency about them. If I were to draw this out, let's say in black, I'm going to draw out the waves of thought. And in blue, I'm going to draw out the waves of feeling. What happens is they can be in phase or out of phase. Okay? Your thoughts and your feelings can be in phase and out of phase. And they can be of different frequency. So this is of a certain frequency, and this is of another frequency. And they can be in another phase where this is the trough occurs here. I will make it complicated. Let's say the dotted one is going to be another, right? So now this is completely out of phase with the original wave, etc. and etc. So they can have different qualities about them, right? So what we want, what heart and mind coherence really means, is that the frequency of the thoughts that we have and the frequency of the emotions and the feelings that we feel, they are both in phase and they're of the same frequency. This is very important. It's like you think good thoughts about the goal that you want and you feel good about the goals, and you feel joyful, you feel peaceful, you feel love, you feel grateful. Out of phase would mean, and out of frequency would mean you have thoughts about achieving your goals, but you feel fear. You want to move towards achieving your goals, but you have fear about your goals. You have the fear of failure or the fear of success, the same fear, right? What we want is we want them in phase, plus we also want them to be of the same frequency. When this happens, they superimpose and make a bigger wave. And this is what we call outer intention. Coherence activates outer intention. Right? So how can we describe outer intention? I've made a video Click up here to check that out. But before I get to that, I want to actually touch up on this heart and mind coherence, why it's so important to have your feelings and your mind on the same page. Most people intellectually know what they want, right? But emotionally, there's no clarity to it. For example, you may know you want a certain amount of money, but that emotion, the corresponding emotion to help you get in phase with that hasn't come in yet. And because of that, there's no juice to it. It's just, substanceless thought. We don't want that. That's ineffective. So what mind and heart really do is the mind crafts the channels, right? So if you have a river, it crafts the channels, but within those channels, we need water for it to flow. And when you have that water that's flowing in a certain direction, the water is emotion, and the channels that have been crafted are the mind. So if you really think about it this way, emotions are very, very chaotic, right? Kind of like the feminine nature of the female divine. There's the masculine and the feminine energy. The feminine energy is very chaotic and it's all over the place. The masculine energy is logical, but it lacks substance, right? But the feminine aspect is the substance. Without the masculine and the feminine in conjunction, nothing would really happen. Creation doesn't happen. When masculine and feminine come together, that's when creation occurs, that's when manifestation occurs. So in understanding that, what the thought does is it gives a channel for the unstructured emotion to flow through. This is very, very important. No one's ever explained it like this before, so I want you to pay close attention to this. The mind gives a channel for the unstructured emotion to flow in. So this is why you need both the coherence of the heart and the mind. If you just had the direction without the substance, then creation and manifestation wouldn't occur. If you just had emotion flowing all over the place without any direction, creation wouldn't occur, right? So that's what the mind does. It adds focus to your efforts, to your emotions. So now let's talk about outer intention. You have two types of intention. The inner, which is your personal will. The outer intention is the worldly will. When you connect your emotions and your desires to the desires of everyone, then manifestation occurs much quicker. You can achieve your goals through personal intention. I don't want to get too detailed into this because I've made this video. If you want, just go ahead and click up here right now to really understand what outer intention is. But essentially, outer intention is a very, very powerful force that brings about the achievement of your goals. It's kind of like you move halfway to the world with your personal intention, what you do and taking massive action, and then the world meets you halfway. It's like in yoga, they say, oh, you do whatever you want and leave the rest to Shiva. And then Shiva comes and does the rest of it, right? So it's kind of like that. God, the universe, whatever you call it, will take care of the rest of it if you do your part. So now let's get to the 3 keys to help you get to visualizing and getting into this heart and mind coherence much, much stronger. Okay? Now, key number 1, and what I want you to remember is visualizing is always done nowadays in a very, very resistive state. Right? So people always visualize when they're feeling fear. Oh, I want to get out of this fear. Let me just visualize what I want. Oh no, I don't feel good about my goals. Let me just visualize what I want. Right? So it's always, people come from a place of scarcity and lack and fear, and then they visualize. Right? So never visualize from a place of resistance, and when you're stiff, visualize when you're relaxed. This is very, very important. So number 1, visualize either in a neutral state, or in a positive state of being. This is important because when you're in a negative state of being, then the negativity gets continued. The negativity gets continued in the visualization. Because remember what we mentioned, you want them to be in phase. If you're thinking negative and you try to visualize something positive, there's not going to be a coherence between those. And thus the harmony won't happen. If you're neutral, the least you can do is just be neutral. Don't try to be positive, just be relaxed, and then the positive emotions will arise once you start to visualize, once you start to focus on what you want. Now let's talk about how to actually get those emotions. A lot of people struggle with this. And why they struggle is because they always visualize to get something. But what you should do instead is visualize to experience, not get. Please remember this. This is super crucial. Never visualize to get something, but visualize rather to experience that ideal scene and what life looks like. So visualize to experience. This is absolutely crucial. Once I've started to advise this to my clients, they've started to get results. Right? When you visualize to experience, now naturally the emotions come up. What does a day in the life look like once you've achieved your goals? Which leads me to my third point. Don't visualize, just the moment of achieving the goal or before the goal. Visualize what life looks like after the goal has been achieved. And I'm not talking like just a day of the goal being achieved, but more like what does a day in the life look like maybe a month after the goal has been achieved? How do you conduct your day to day? What sort of scenes are there? What different elements are there? So to give you an example, for me, it's me running an awesome team, me maybe doing seminars, me, having this mansion that I talked about in the West Coast, and waking up next to my partner and just basically enjoying that scene. Me being on a boat, at a party with my friends. So basically visualize the scene and what life looks like after goal has been achieved. After, or at the very least during. So during achievement. So another thing is people find that the emotions get very, very dry. After a certain period of time, you'll find that you can't achieve the same emotions anymore. Now it's time to do what we call refresh the creative. If you're an advertiser, you know what this means. So you refresh the creative by introducing new slides, and new visions and new pictures and new slides of what life looks like. Okay? What does life look like after you've achieved the goal? Insert some new pictures. Maybe now you've been visualizing being in your apartment, being in your house, being in your mansion. Maybe you visualize what, an evening looks like once you've achieved your goals. Different times of day or different places. You've still achieved the goals. You've still become that person. What does that look like? Very important. This is very, very powerful. And again, I can't tell you how important it is to just be relaxed and not be so focused on getting a particular result, right? And with that, I conclude this video. Let's do a quick recap of what we talked about. Today, we talked about visualizing and what mistake most people make and why they don't truly get the results that they want with visualizing, and why I was even stuck for such a long time trying to visualize my ideal life. Number one, understand that visualization is a technique, just like affirmations, just like hypnosis, just like anything else, just like NLP. They're all techniques to get you into the state of being to help you manifest, right? And the goal of all of this is to get into this heart and mind coherence, because we want our thoughts and our feelings to be in phase at the same frequency so they can go over each other, superimpose, and make a bigger one, right? And they energetically become much powerful. And coherence activates. When this coherence happens, it activates what we call outer intention. And outer intention, I made a video on it. Click up here to check that out. The three keys that we talked about were, number one, visualizing in either neutral or positive states of being. When you're rested, when you're relaxed, when your muscles are intense, when you're not thinking or being anxious about something, then you visualize. And you visualize, number two, to experience this ideal scene, not to get something from it. And finally, visualize what life looks like after you've actually achieved the goal, or at least during it, right? So you sort of look at the different times of day, you look at the different people that you hang out with, and when it gets too fatigued and you don't feel the same emotions, then you start to refresh this creative, you start to introduce new slides to this, okay? And with that, I conclude this video. Thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope this was helpful, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell there so you're notified of any new video that I put out. And also, I'm super excited to announce, as I mentioned before, the free one-to-one consult with me, my team, for the Reality Mastery Program is now open. Make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up for that, and I'll see you there. Now, who we typically work with are as follows. First of all, people who are professionals, they're looking to take their careers to the next level or really just transition out and start up their own businesses. They see that they don't have an external tactics or strategies problem, but it's them. Who they are, their identity is stuck in that 9 to 5. That's why they keep attracting. People who are entrepreneurs, people who are creatives as well. That sounds like you. Click on the link in the description below to sign up, and let's see how we can take you to the next level. And also, the free Facebook group is also open for you to take advantage of. Now, what I want to mention to you is that it's a very specialized group. We don't let anyone in because we want to keep the quality very, very high. So make sure you fill up the 3 questions to apply for that Facebook group, and we'll take your application from there. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time. Peace!